got a smile so bright. Baby, you could have been a candle. You got me holding you so tight. You could have been a handle. Way you swept me off my feet. You could have been a broom. And child, you smell so sweet. Smell so sweet. You could have been some perfume. Yeah, child, I say you could have been anything, baby, that you wanted to. And I can tell, darling, the way you do the things you do.
Welcome to this event. I'm Mitch Gross, Mayor Pro Tem of Coralville, and it's my great pleasure and honor to be presiding over this ceremony that commemorates the 50th anniversary of the Coralville Public Library. 50 years ago today, a group of citizens with the vision and the fortitude to carry out that vision began building what would become the Coralville Public Library. Brick by brick and book by book, those pioneers completed their plan, and in thus doing so have left an enduring vision and legacy for our community. We are honored today to have some of those trailblazers with us, and they'll be here later on for you to get a chance to meet them as we dedicate a specific room in the library that will be called the Founders Room from here on out. I also want to acknowledge some other people that are here. I want to acknowledge Mayor Jim Fawcett. I also want to acknowledge two of my colleagues on the Coralville City Council, Lori Goodrich and Joe Dodds. In times of tight budgets, libraries unfortunately seem one of the first to get put on the chopping block, but our city council has remained very resilient in bucking that trend, and we're very, very proud of the way that we've supported our library. The library is the quintessential institution of democracy. No one is ever turned away. The only prerequisite is a yearning to learn. Benjamin Franklin in 1731, along with 49 others, started the very first library in Philadelphia. 284 years later, Franklin would be very proud and I feel astounded by the services that we offer in this building. A community without a library resembles a body without a soul. It's essential to the very core of our being. As Mayor Pro Tem of the great city of Coralville, I want to be the first to wish the city of Coralville and the Library of Coralville a very happy 50th anniversary. And it's now my pleasure to introduce the better dressed and the more esteemed member of the Coralville Library Board of Public Trustees, as well as the Coralville Library Foundation, longtime Coralville resident and great volunteer, Mr. Keith Jones.
Maybe better dressed, I don't think more esteemed. I'm not going along with it. On behalf of the Coralville Library Board of Trustees, I would like to welcome you to this special day of celebration. As Mitch said, 50 years ago today, September 13th, 1965, the Coralville Library opened in the corner of the basement of City Hall, which at that time was down on 2nd Avenue. My message today is simply one of thanks. Thanks to Fran Rogers and her cadet Girl Scout troop who had a fundraiser in 1965 to start the original funds to open the library, and then other civic organizations and people followed that. Thanks to 50 years of support from the Coralville City Council, from the mayors during that time, and from city administrators who have continued to support the library and allow it to grow into the resource that we have here today. Thanks to three very dedicated and talented women who have served as the directors of this library. Jean Schwab, the original director, Heidi Lordson, and Heidi's here today, over here. And of course, Allison Ames Gallstead, our current director, who's over here. Thank you also for a truly amazing staff who continue to provide unprecedented levels of service to our patrons, and thanks to a very active, dedicated, and tireless group of volunteers who make this library work. And last, And last, it's certainly by no means at least is the citizens of Coralville who have, through their votes at the polls, through their support, have continued to support the library and allow it to grow over its 50 years. So thank you all, citizens of Coralville. As we start the celebration today, I just want to leave you with a couple thoughts. I read this recently in a survey of young adults, and they were asked how they viewed their local library. One said, "The library is another place I call home." Another one said, "A safe place to escape the world and to go anywhere I want to." And the third said, "The library means the world to me." Well, the Coralville Library does mean the world to us, and that world is so much bigger than a place for books. It's a place for people, and it's a place for community. And we are pleased that you could all be here today to help us celebrate this special place on its 50th anniversary. We're also very excited to dedicate this wonderful sculpture to my right. It was done by Dale Merrill of Liberty Ironworks. If you will, it's a miniature sister sculpture of the one that you'll find in the rotunda. In fact, even down to the limestone that it sits on is part of the limestone that you'll find inside. This represents community and represents the plains of the Midwest, and I think it's a wonderful sculpture. It will move to the front of the building tomorrow and be in its permanent location. Thank you all for coming, and enjoy the 50th anniversary celebration.
And with that, once Allison opens up the doors, we're open for business.
We're celebrating. I want to see you every day and night.
Thanks for being here. This is a really special day for the library. So 51 years ago, actually, a group of women started organizing to establish a library in Coralville. They didn't have any funding, but they had initiative and energy. And as was mentioned outside, the Fran's group, Fran's Girl Scout troop, did the first bake sale and bazaar that established the sort of the seed fund for the library at the local bank. As we planned this expansion and renovation, we really wanted to be sure to honor the efforts of those library founders. They had the best interest of the community of Coralville in their minds and in their hearts when they established this library. And Coralville remains a community that supports their public library with great enthusiasm. They approved a bond issue for this building, this most recent expansion and renovation, by well over 90%, and continue to support the library through volunteer efforts, as well as participation in our Library Foundation fundraising events and our annual campaign, as well as through membership in our Friends group. We also have a really active Friends group that provides volunteers, and they do the wonderful book sales that everyone knows about and comes to. So it's been wonderful to kind of bring together a way to honor our founders and that tradition in Coralville. So shortly after this group started organizing to establish a library, a library committee was appointed. And so you'll see on the wall the original members of that founding group and that library committee. And then their names are listed right underneath there. We've got representatives from several families here. We had hoped Fran Rogers would be here, and it doesn't look like she's made it yet. I'm still got my fingers crossed that she'll get here. Pauline Lovtinsky is at Lantern Park now, and she wasn't able to make it. She's not very mobile anymore, so she wasn't able to be here. But we've got her in our hearts, and she knows this is going on and is thinking about us. Faye Peters is up on the wall, and Frank is here. And Frank and Faye were generous over the years, from those very first days that Faye was active in establishing the library. Della Hartvigson is on the right side of Pauline. I don't know if Del made it or not. Or I mean Don. Don, I'm sorry. Okay.
Her daughter Ginger is here somewhere.
That's right.
Oh, and Ginger.
Yeah, I talked to her.
Ginny Wenman's picture is up here, and Ginger is here somewhere. So I know I greeted her outside. So we're excited. Ginny is there down on the left side. And then Pat D over in the middle on the left. I meant right for Ginny. On the left is Pat. And Deborah D is here. And we just lost Pat a few weeks ago. Really miss her. She was a longstanding library board member, and then almost immediately after going off the board, she was a founding member of the foundation board and served on that board for many years. Just an amazing volunteer. And then Charlie Dinsmore was the only male on that original library committee. He passed away several years ago. That's one of the original pictures. You'll see that crop up in some of the other pictures. And then in the middle, in the center, at the bottom, is Velma Moore. And we're just thrilled that Lori and Sandy, her daughters, are right here, came over from Des Moines today to be here with us. So this is just really exciting. So thank you all for being here.
Ginger.
Oh, and here's Ginger. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, so we're thrilled to have you here, and representatives from so many of the families of our founders. This is just wonderful. And then, there are so many people, too, that have been just long-standing volunteers and been involved in this library. Kathy Slaymaker was involved from just about the ground up. Marilyn Jensen is around here somewhere, just years and years, and still is volunteering here, doing amazing things with genealogy and publicity that the library shows up in, and keeping track of that. So I just want to thank you all. I also wanted to...
Diane Peters is Faye's daughter.
Oh, Diane!
It's okay.
Oh,
My dad's
yes. So glad to have you here. I
Thank
apologize.
you.
Oh,
Okay.
So glad to have you here. I also wanted to recognize our current library board of trustees, the members that were able to be here today. We had a few members that had conflicts, but Jim Smith is here, Keith Jones, who you already heard from, Lindsay Moen, who am I missing? Shaner Magelheinz is here, and I think, is that, who am I missing? Oh, Debbie! Oh my gosh, standing right in front of me. Debbie Hatz. So
Lisa Martin's here, but her grandson's got her in other places.
So thank you all for being here. Enjoy the pictures. There's some photo albums that you're welcome to look through. I know that the room is small and it's getting warm. So, feel free to come back here later in the day and look at pictures and look through photo albums. We want you to enjoy this. So, thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Crystal raindrop fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind. When I think of you sometime, honey, I want to spend some time with you. Just the two of us, so we can make it if we try. Just the two of us, just the two of us. Just the two of us, building no castles in the sky. Just the two of us, oh baby, you and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and it don't mean no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, but not to those who wait too late. baby, we gotta go over all we know, yeah. Just the two of us. So we can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building them castles way on high. Just the two of us. Oh, baby, you and I. On the side of your head, she said to me, the answer's simple if you take it logically. I'd like to help you with your struggle to be free. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover. She said it's really not my habit to intrude, and furthermore, I hope my meaning won't get lost or misconstrued. But I'll repeat myself, at the risk of being crude. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover. Just slip out the back, Jack. You're making the plan stand. No need to be caught, right? You just listen to me. You gotta hop off the bus, 'cause you don't need to discuss mine. You just come off the key, leave, set yourself free. She said it grieves me so to see you in such pain. Wish that there was something I could do, make you smile again. Said I appreciate that. But could you please explain about the 50 ways? She said, well, I know we both just sleep on it tonight, and in the morning I believe that you'll probably see the light. And then she kissed me, and I realized she probably was right. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover. There must be 50 ways to leave your lover. Just slip out the back, Jack. You're making the plan stand. No need to be caught, right? Just listen to me. You gotta hop off the bus, 'cause you don't need to discuss mine. You just drop off the key, leave. You gotta set yourself free. You gotta set yourself free, yeah. Crystal raindrops fall on the window down the hall, and it becomes a morning dew. And darling, when the morning comes and I see the morning sun, I wanna be the world with you, baby. Just the two of us, so we can make it if we try. Just the two of us, just the two of us. Just the two of us, building them castles way on high. Just the two of us, oh baby, you and I, yeah. Just the two of us, Thank you very much. I want you to want me. I need you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ken Cooper and I'm with the Quad City Magic Club. And we're here at the library today for the 50th anniversary, and we're just doing Magic for everyone and just having a great time. Kids are here, adults here, everyone's having a great time doing a little magic here. We have about 7, 8 members from the Magic Club, and they're all working miracles in the library for you. Because you could have picked the Ace of Diamonds, but you didn't pick it. Could have picked the Ace of Clubs, but you didn't pick it. Right. You could have picked the Ace of Spades, but you didn't pick it. You picked the Ace of Hearts, which is the only blue card I have in this set.
Whoa, huge mantle.
Now you may say, what would happen if you had picked the Ace of Hearts or the Ace of Spades instead of the Ace of Hearts? Well, then I would have taken these cards, would have ran them through my hands like this, flipped them over, given a magic tickle, and then shown you could have picked the Ace of Diamonds, but you didn't pick it, the Ace of Clubs, but you didn't pick it, the Ace of Hearts, you didn't pick it, because you picked the red card. Now you say, well, what happens if I would have picked the Ace of Clubs? Well, then you would have gotten a greenback. And what if I picked the Ace of Diamonds? Well, then you would have gotten a yellow card. Thank you very much for your help.
Feeling all alone without a friend, baby. Hey, you know it make you feel just like you're dying. Oh, baby, now didn't I see you crying? You understand me now when I'm telling you, child, that I want you to want me, yeah.
Welcome everyone to our 50th anniversary celebration. Now, we are really fortunate because also joining us today at this celebration is author and illustrator Claudia McGehee.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here too. Well, thanks. I'm going to do a little program and then I'll read the book and then we'll do some art activities too, I thought. But to start off, how many of you like to travel? How many of you like to go on trips? I do. Well, today we're going to travel using a book. We're going to go to Alaska, a way far away place. And we're also going to travel back in time 100 years ago. And we're going to learn about a little boy named Rocky who went to Alaska with his dad in 1918, a long time ago. His dad was a famous painter and he wanted to paint Alaska. And so here's a painting that his father, Rockwell Kent, did. And you see, here's Rocky here, the little boy, and then there's the dad. And it doesn't look like they're in Iowa, does it? It's got all those mountains and pointy trees. They're in Alaska. Here's a photograph of Rocky with his mom. He's 9 years old here. How many? Is anybody 9 here? 8 or 9? There's a 9-year-old back there. You're 8. Well, here's Rocky as I drew him. So here's the real Rocky, and this is how Rocky looks in the book. This is his dad, Rockwell Kent. So he was a pretty famous guy. And this is how I drew Rockwell Kent, his dad. So traveling 100 years ago was a lot different from what it is now. Today, what do? We ride on airplanes, we go in cars, we take backpacks with us and suitcases that have rollers. Well, back when Rocky and his dad were traveling, they had suitcases that kind of looked like this, a little different from what we have. So if you were going to a very small island for a few months, there are some things that you might want to take, especially if you're 9 years old and you're leaving your mom and your sisters and brothers for a few months. You might want to bring like something that reminds you of the comforts of home. So we know that Rocky brought a nice soft blanket that his mother made. What other things? We know that Rocky loved books. And so, while Rocky was there, his dad would read to him every night. This one's called Robinson Crusoe. And so it was one of Rocky's favorite books. We also know that Rocky His dad was an artist, but Rocky was an artist too, and he had a notebook that he took with him. And so when he was on the island, he made little drawings of what he saw. That. And also, you might notice, if you looked at the book, there's somebody else in this picture. If you looked in Rocky's pocket, there's a teeny little squirrel. It's a stuffed squirrel. And since it's a true story, we do know that Rocky brought a little stuffed squirrel named Squirrely with him. So here's Squirrely. We're gonna put him right here. There. And then after I read the book, this is a good time to read it, we'll take a look at maybe what Rocky brought away with him from the island too. So I'm gonna start, and I might kind of shorten the book a little bit, but because it's kind of a long book. It's a picture book, but it's longer than some. So let's start, and then we'll talk a little bit more. So, My Wilderness, an Alaskan Adventure. And I wrote this and I illustrated it too. Fox Island sits off the coast of Alaska, one of many islands strung through the waters like jewels in an emerald necklace. No one lives. It's a rugged, wild place. Otter and seal play on its shorelines, and eagles hover high above the cliffs. No one lives on Fox Island anymore. Stormy weather and tricky ocean currents make it difficult to reach most of the year. But when I was 9 years old, one winter I lived on Fox Island. One winter I lived on Fox Island with my father, an old trapper named Olson, 6 blue fox, a family of goats, and Squirrely. This is what happened. Father liked to visit the snow-covered lands carved out long ago from the ice and the sea. He wanted to paint in Alaska, and he asked us to come too. Mother said yes, and Squirrely came along as well. It was 1918. Alaska was not yet a star on the flag. It was a time when the world was wide and travel was slow, and unexpected adventures happened, even to children. The wilderness is where we wanted to live, but close enough in town to buy supplies now and then. Father borrowed a boat to explore the bay and the nearby islands. A smudge on the horizon appeared, and a man rode out to meet us. This is Olson. He said, "Come with me, I'll show you the way." And we followed him around the bay. Like a crouching giant, Fox Island loomed ahead. Its great mountains were covered with evergreens, and a dark pebbled beach fringed a sheltered cove where our boats landed. Olson pointed to the sky, and the first eagle I ever saw circled above us. Once ashore, Olson introduced us to the other Fox Islanders. They were goats. I bleated hello, bah, and they bleated back. Olson's tidy log cabin stood off from the beach. Close by, there was an unused shed in need of some fixing up. It was the perfect spot. The north wind whispered, we had found our home. So Rocky and his father made a little home out of an unused shed, and here they are. If you were close enough, you can see Rocky running in the distance here. He's right there. You see him? So most of the time, well, Rocky's dad did painting. Rocky explored. He went around the island. Squirrely and I liked to hike the winding trails around the island. Anything could happen in the wilderness. A rustle and a snap from deep inside the forest stopped me in my tracks. Was it a grizzly bear? Olson said sometimes they swam to the island. A shadow crossed the trail ahead. Is it going to be a bear? No, it was just a porcupine. On the beach, I collected seashells, smooth stones, and bleached bones. A gigantic piece of driftwood became my lookout. Out in the ocean, movement caught my eye. Was that a pirate ship coming to take me away? No, it was just a family of whales knifing through the water. I walked through the forest, a soft bed of leaves and pine needles velveting my steps. Something wet and spongy came into my palm. Was it a wood troll coming to drag me down to the underworld? What's it gonna be? No, it was just Billy, one of Olson's goats, pressing his nose against the palm of my hand. The wilderness made me hungry. When supper time came, we sat by the fire and ate wonderful meals Father invented. Later in the evenings, Olson joined us, his blue eyes twinkling as he told stories of the Yukon. Do you ever have a goat in your kitchen? Because here he is. In Alaska, they might have goats in their kitchen. At bedtime, Father played his flute for me, the island's night voices chiming in. Sometimes he reads from the books, like Robinson Crusoe or Treasure Island. The wind whistled down the stovepipe as the fire crackled and popped. Soon I was dreaming of shipwrecks and pirates. Do you see Squirrely in there? He's tucked in bed. There he is. The days turned gray and colder. It rained and rained. We stayed indoors and filled the cabin with quiet activity. I drew or I worked on my math sums while Father sketched. Sometimes we played games like checkers or chess. In late October, I tasted my first steely snowflakes. We invented snow baths. We used to run outside naked, throwing ourselves into the soft white snow banks and then scrubbing down with snow from head to toe. It was only cold for a moment or two. Would you guys like to have a snow bath this summer or this winter? No? Rocky and his dad liked them. I didn't have the right winter boots, but Olson let me borrow a pair of ladies' boots that he happened to have. Well, they were warm, and there they are. On clear days, Father still worked outside, shivering and painting, and then dashing into the warm cabin to thaw his fingers. I made friends with the cold, trumping the white woods, looking for animal tracks, and digging out snow houses. I was an otter. I was a bear. I was prince of the mountain, king of the wilderness. But I was a little lonely. All by himself here. We watched the weather. If it looked fine, we rode the long route back to Seward and stayed for a few days collecting our mail. But once a terrible storm arose. Our dory, our boat, pitched up and down between the walls of waves. I clenched my oars tightly and I tucked Squirrely deep inside my pocket. Father worked his oars as best he could. Squirrely was frightened, but we were both frightened that the boat would tip over into the churning blackness. Through the driving rain, I caught a faint glimpse of our island. If we missed it, we would be pulled out to sea. Little by little, we rode the surf into the shelter of the cove. Finally, our dory's bottom scraped against the pebbled beach. Olson was there to pull us in. So that would have been scary. That night, we listened to the gale howling outside our cabin. My legs were still wobbly, and my arms ached. Squirrely was still afraid. We ate supper quietly, we did not read or draw, and we slept close. The tide ebbed and flowed. Early spring dripped from our cabin's window. Soon we would go back to New York City. Father packed our trunks and prepared his finished paintings for shipping. That's what the island looked like if you were a bird. Down. Our last day of Fox Island, I sat next to the water's edge, saying goodbye to my wilderness home. I listened to the island so I could better remember it. The waves pulled across the pebbles, the gulls laughed at the sun, the wind whooshed through the tall trees. I kissed the goats and I hugged Olson. An eagle soared above us, guiding us back to the mainland. We left Fox Island behind, but the wilderness came to stay in my heart forever. The end. And in the back of the book, It shows, thank you, it shows a little Rocky, and this is a real photograph of Rocky. And the real Rocky, who was there, well, he was on the island. Rocky was 9 years old, but he grew 4 inches. Isn't that something? So,
about 1950. Yeah.
Okay.